So welcome everybody. Data storytelling with Vizlib Tooltips is the session we've got for today. And just a tiny reminder about what we are, the session for today. We do these snackables, so these 15-minute sessions. And I think if you've joined us today, it's because one of your customer success manager, or you've had a personal invitation from us. And this is really about a masterclass. So talking of masterclasses, we have Luke Tolchard, who's one of our product managers on Vizlib. My name's Herron, and I look after product marketing. Little bit about the webinar today. Tooltips really are a fantastic way to deliver uncluttered dashboards. Today we're going to have a practical hands-on session, hosted of course by Luke. So we're going to do some deep dives. If we probably look, Luke, do you want to go just one session on? And a quick reminder, we're going to kind of keep to about the 15-20 minute session. You'll see we are actually going to be hands-on, so masterclasses. Before we do that, we're going to set the scene. We're going to look at what are tooltips, why and when you should be using them, how they're a bit different than VizTips. And I think if we have enough requests, by the way, this is a live and interactive session. If we have enough requests, we can probably come back and maybe twist Luke's arm to do a VizTip session over and above what we're doing on tooltips today. And the key thing as well is kind of when would you use them, and why invest in the time. So very soon we're going to just hand over to Luke. A couple of housekeeping items. We always record these sessions. So if you've registered, you'll get the recording to this. The other thing is we really like to make this a interactive session. But I think at this point now, Luke, the floor is yours.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So yes, I'm Luke. For library, Gantt, and all those other products. But what I'm going to show you today isn't just specific to one product or even one extension. Tooltips, and HTML tooltips in general are found on multiple extensions. But yeah, let's crack on with it. So what is a tooltip and how is it different from a VizTip? Right. So this may be one question that you ask yourself. And well, a VizTip is something where you have a KPI designer, for instance, on the right-hand side here, such as a bar chart. You use a VizTip to present additional data through a chart, like through this KPI where I've got a text object with numbers and a dollar sign, as well as just a bar chart down by here. So a tooltip, though, which is what we're obviously going to be covering with this session, is something where, for instance, again with a bar chart, this is a standard tooltip where it just gives you the name, what it is that you're actually highlighting, and usually presents the number of instances or occurrences or percentage or whatever it is that you're looking for or analyzing at that point. Whereas a HTML tooltip, which is what I'll be getting onto later on in this webinar, as we see down here, has additional information, and sometimes it's information which you'll use that is not needed for a chart. So there's no point investing in a chart to give a little bit more information about, for instance, date and time. So when would you use a tooltip? So you use a tooltip when you want to save space on your Qlik sheet. A fantastic way to give more information while saving valuable analytical dashboard space. Reduce visual clutter. So instead of having, let's say, 8 charts on your sheet, you can possibly reduce that down to reduce it down by a number of 2, maybe even more, just so you can get more visual impact in charts on there, and you can put the information that would be in the other visualizations into a tooltip or HTML tooltip. When you need to provide more information regarding an event or field, so for instance with Vizlib Gantt, obviously close to my heart. So if you want to provide more information regarding an event that's happening within Vizlib Gantt, yes, you create a HTML tooltip. and you'll definitely be able to see more information coming from that event just by hovering over it. Get more information without having to drill down. So let's say, for instance, you want to see different information in a table. So that's fine. You can click on, like, for instance, a bar chart. You can click on the bar chart and then it'll update the table as well to present you with that data. You don't need to do that. You can simply hover over, for instance, a bar chart or a Gantt or something with collaboration, self-services tiles. Hover over that. It'll present you with more data, saving you that additional time, not drilling down. Customize the results by using HTML. When someone hover over the event or field, which I'll be demonstrating actually, but I've sort of covered that anyway in the previous points. Providing information that would be irrelevant as a chart, but provides more context by using HTML. Again, I have an example on this slide. So, for instance, here I have a large Gantt. I have my calendar object, KPI. I have activity gauge, pie chart, bar chart, but I've managed to save some space on here by having relevant information regarding this event. So I can see when hovering over it was this one from Ahmed. I can see that Ahmed here, he's departed from Luton. He arrives at Stevenage, the delivery start end time, and the items delivered. And I've just got an API here calling a random image that relates to one of these fields. But yeah, this is just an idea of what you can do with VizTip. Tooltips. So basic tooltip versus HTML tooltip, and why invest the time? So tooltip natively is what we see here. As we saw on the previous slide, this is also Ahmed once again, but I can see nothing really other than the title, where he's actually just departed from, the tag, if it's on time or not, and the start end date. This doesn't really provide me with much information. I'd have to get additional charts for it. But for instance, as soon as I invest like 20 minutes worth of time, simple HTML here, I can start analyzing this without even having to select an event. I can hover over it, instantly get everything that I want to see, and then I can carry on doing my data analytics. So let's have a demo. So let's do this. Awesome.
Just
so
a quick reminder. Thank you, Luke, by the way. Just a quick reminder. And by the way, I always say this, let's give Luke a hard time. If you've got any difficult questions, he really is our data viz expert here. So please get those questions coming in. And Luke, I think this is the bit that we're all waiting for, is that practical hands-on demo. So
yes,
again, back over to you.
Definitely. Whilst I'm talking, you can also fill out this poll, which I have elegantly forgot to introduce at the start of this webinar. So you should be able to see that. I'll end it in a little bit. But yes, so here we are. We have a Qlik sheet, right? I've got some information here. I've got KPI, I've got a line chart, I've got my table, and I've got filters and my Gantt by here. So at the moment, I've just got a basic Gantt, right? But what is this going to show me? As I said, show me the title. Great. What does that mean? Nothing really. Same with start end date. Like, I get a rough idea, but nothing too eventful. All right, I'm going to end that poll now as well. Thank you very much for everyone who partook in that. So, right, let's make this a better Qlik experience for our users and anyone who's actually going to be viewing this Qlik sheet. So for the Vizlib Gantt, it does slightly vary where the tooltips are, but you can either search for tooltip in the search bar up here, and I can find it, for instance, here, or you can type in HTML. Some of them will instantly show. I know it does have HTML here. I just have to uncheck it. So type in tooltip or type in HTML to locate where it is on the where it is in the property panel. But yes, okay, cool. Now we see that we have my chance to add a custom tooltip. So you can see it supports HTML. Later on in the webinar, and as a reminder for everyone, we'll be sending out some resources for you to go away and learn a bit more about HTML and stuff like that. I even made a video on our YouTube channel. But yes, let's get to it. So cool. Right now, I don't have anything in there. Let's add some let's add some stuff. So to always begin with, you start with an equals and followed by 2 apostrophes. I tend to do this. And now to save time, because I've written stuff out and we only have 15 minutes at the end of the day, I'm not going to take up all your time watching me write some code. So I have already gone ahead and in good Blue Peter fashion, I've already made some. But basically what I've got here, I've got a paragraph tag. So you start and end it. Cool, that's great. And I have, you may see here, I've got these apostrophes and ampersands. And again, ampersand and apostrophe with some fields in here. So what's great about this HTML tooltip, right, is that you can actually get your fields that you're using within your data model and put them in here. You can even do if statements like I've got by here. You can do min max, or if it's, excuse me, you don't necessarily need to have them all the time, but as a general rule of thumb, I would just tend to put them in, especially if you're trying to do some if statements, or if you're doing aggregations or sums and stuff like that. So yes, let's go ahead. Let's click apply, let it load. I do also apologize if my internet is a little bit slow. We did change over recently. And we see here, okay, I forgot to add this. There we are. Just seeing it in real life.
At least we know it's live TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like all good TV. There we are. Okay. So again, then that update. And we hover over it, and awesome. Now we can already draw more value from this without me having to do any additional drilling down of data. This is what I mean. You can do everything from a surface level. Now at this point, right, I can start to get rid of this table. I no longer need this Vizlib table there. For the sake of this, I'll keep it there for the time being. But you know what? This doesn't read very good. How can we make it any better? So once again, going into our tooltip area, and one that obviously supports HTML, let's add something a bit more. So what do people always like? People like tables. Who doesn't like a good old table? So simply add in the HTML elements for tables. I have gone ahead and made it. I've also added some breakpoints to space it out. And again, it's just all using HTML. Nothing's mega complicated here. Let's go apply. Let us load once again. And wary of time to make it quick. Yes. And we can see, great, this is more ordered, it's more legible, it's easier to understand. And for my users, they can now start to go ahead and do some more analytics. So great, that's really good, but we can keep going further, right? So HTML, as some people here may or may not know, HTML isn't styles. You can't really do much with styles, and you can't actually put a style script in here, which is a little bit irritating. But what you can do here, you can add the style tag, and then you can start to add your CSS here. So what we can do here now is that we can begin to make things look a little bit more pretty without actually needing to use the style tags. So again, let's go through this. Let's add it once more. And when it loads, you'll see that the text is indeed centered. Once again, let's make it even better by one more iteration of this. Let's add a border, centered, and let's go ahead and implement this. So we can now see that things are sectioned off. Very easy to read. I can get rid of this table now. In fact, I'm so confident in my design, I've gone ahead and just shown you what you can do. See, so I've reduced how many visualizations did I have there? I only had, again, I had 3 visualizations, but I had to have a lot of information there to get what I could see from my HTML tooltip, right? So what I've got here, I've got cards. Again, same information, just to show you. You can put it in here as well. I've got my bar chart. Actually, let's go out analytics mode. I've got my bar chart down here. This is the basic tooltip. Great. You can see the number of patients and the route method that it was taken. I can now see as well my information regarding my individual event without even having to drill down. Just to also show a few more advantages of using tooltips. I think a few of you may have already seen this demonstration using Vizlib, but you can add images in here as well. So again, like in the example that I've shown you earlier on the slide deck, I can see here that I've got my delivery information. Cool, that's fantastic. You can see who the driver is. Once again, see start end date. Again, items delivered, and you may even see there's a fantastic image there to just bring out a bit more, style from this to make it look a bit less dead. And this, again, that's driven by one of your fields. So it's a super powerful feature, this. One that quite a few of our products actually have. I love it. I could spend ages going on and perfecting this, but I think you can see even from the quickest example, which was literally just a couple paragraph tags seen here, we already began to get some valuable information just because of how powerful this tool is. Like I don't need to go in. I don't need to start adding all these different visualizations just to try and get some to try and get my story across of what I'm trying to present. I can even start with something that basic and you're beginning to draw value from it instantly. Yeah, mega quick to set up. You can invest as much or as little time as possible as you so care, really. But again, it's all HTML at the end of the day. You can add, as I've got here, you can add borders around your tables. You can add bold text and, underline, put italics, pictures, color. You can even color your text within here if you want. I think that is all I'd like to really talk about. Just again.
Okay, so we got questions coming in.
Fantastic. Yes.
Luke, do you want to? And interestingly, I think what's absolutely key here is both Waleed and Emily were asking the same questions just before you. It was like you were in tune with the most important people here today, our audience. But does HTML work in? Sorry, can we add images to the tooltip? And I think you went on to describe that. Emily asked a slightly different question, actually, and I'll come back to that in a short while. Luke, you're grabbing a cup of water there. What do you want to do now? Should we go to questions? Did you want to finish off? We're about 17, 18 minutes now. What do you want to do?
Oh, there we are. I've forgotten that slide showed how important that one was. I suppose I just want to highlight that we will be sending out some more resources. Obviously, we have our video on the YouTube channel, how to create tooltips in Vizlib Gantt for Qlik Sense. Though, yes, obviously it says Vizlib Gantt, and yes, I made it. I love Vizlib Gantt. Why wouldn't I? But on a serious note, this applies to anyone, any extension of ours that has HTML tooltips available. Again, you can see all the list of what supports HTML tooltips. This list will only keep expanding over time, so keep an eye out on it and keep an eye on our change logs. I think what one had it added recently? I can't remember off the top of my head. I do apologize. And again, some fantastic learning resources on the internet. W3 Schools, I think, is standard both for HTML and CSS, JavaScript. SQL, you can go on, but HTML is the one you want to look for. CSS. You can play around with it if you want, but do remember that you can't actually have style classes within the HTML tooltip. You can only have HTML, and then within it, like I have done, where is it now? Here. So you have to use a style equals and followed by two quotes. Yes, with the style tag that you so choose. So, for instance, if you want to get a blue trial start text, you can do that from there. And then finally, the law of HTML literally called html.com. Yeah, you can learn more there. So again, questions. Sorry.
And what we've done, just to Luke, I know you wanted us when we just got together to talk about this yesterday. Those links, I've put all of those links in the chat. So if you just want to scrape those guys, or if you don't want to bother, if you just want to leave it, and we'll get those out in the wrap-up email. So interestingly, so in Saya and Emily had similar question, which was, can you use HTML tooltips in baseline Qlik? So non-Vizlib. And Emily asked the same. So does HTML work in non-Vizlib Qlik visuals?
I mean, if it has HTML tooltip, then theoretically, yes.
Yep. Lovely. Where do I find HTML tooltips in the Vizlib products? Now, you've demonstrated that question that we had through. So
we will send community.vizlib.com, and it's Vizlib capabilities. You search for custom HTML tooltips. This list here, as I keep saying, will only expand over time with the number of supported extensions. Starting small, moving up bigger and bigger. But yeah, I know it's on for self-service. I think it's only the tiles. Library has a few of them. Gantt, obviously, as I keep saying. And they're the ones that I can think of at the moment. Maybe 7 odd products, I think, at the moment, off the top of my head.
Yeah. Which kind of wraps up AJ's. AJ, thanks for that question as well. Are tooltips available for all of the library charts? So I think it's you've just covered that one as well.
Yeah, well, it's not that it's not available a lot. If we go back, we can see, like, for instance, where is it? Where's the bar chart? So we can see the bar chart here. That's a tooltip. But if you're on about HTML tooltips, again, check out Vizlib capabilities on the community website or in the link that will be sent in the email. Yes, is there any more?
So final questions, and I'm going to pronounce InCR's name correctly now. So absolutely anyone, if we have any questions, to please let us know. And like I say, we do like to challenge our resident experts.
Of course.
Quick one coming through. So Luke, if you know to hover, then you know to hover. If you're as a creator, would you have to educate your users? Is it because otherwise, if they don't hover, they don't know? You could get rid of that chart that you talked about, the clutter. Suddenly, the users don't know. So would a kind of a user enablement be good?
Well, I would say yes. Obviously, it's always good to educate your users who are going to be using it. But for instance, let's go to an example where I have a bar chart. I believe this one. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, I can already see things here, but I think natural instinct is to hover over things. Like if you want to look at more accurate data, if you want to call it that, I can start to hover over things. Right? Okay. So again, with this chart down here, cool. I can start to see my on-time status. I can see number of deliveries, cool, of those deliveries, which matches status. In fact, actually, I think this is also a HTML tooltip. It is. We can find out actually. There we are. My tip is going to be in here somewhere. One of these. Okay, not that. Appearance, chart style. I remember adding it somewhere, and it can't remember where it is. There we are. Use tooltips. So you can get rid of that if you want. But yeah, so your instinct is to probably hover over items. But yes, you can do it in a number of ways. You can have a starting, for instance, you can have a starting slide, maybe, or click sheet here saying like how to use the app, and then more experienced users at that point will just skip over it and go straight to their data analytics. Or you can even have like a test app, an example app which shows like, look, these are the capabilities which we're going to have within our within the applications of our business. So it's probably quite good for, instead of having it on an actual live dashboard, you have like a training dashboard where it's something like, right, okay, this is how to use a tooltip, hover over it. This is how to use a VizTip, hover over it. This is how you drill down, cool, this is how you do it, this blah, 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 so on and so forth. Yeah, that could be quite an interesting way to. Good question. I must say, good question, but quite an interesting way to present what.
There we go. We did get you thinking there, Luke.
Yes,
exactly. I'm just mindful of time. I've seen the questions come in, a couple of that we haven't been able to get to. We'll answer those directly. Really nice to see some new faces today. Also nice to see some of our faces that we see a little bit more regularly as well. So really great to see everybody today. We're going to wrap things up for today. We will get the recording out to everybody. And on a kind of final one, if there are any, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but if there are any sessions that you would like us to cover on these Snackables, please let us know. If there are tips and tricks or masterclasses that you want to see, and we can challenge either Michael or Luke, and we'll get the guys up. We'll do some hands-on masterclasses as well. But from today and wherever you are in the world, trust you have a great day.